Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Crosswinds Church More Than Sunday podcast. This is Chris. I'm the senior pastor here at Crosswinds, and I've got Zac Holstra, who is our new family pastor, which we'll talk about for a second. And for the first time on our podcast, Simone Brown, who is our children's creator. Welcome, Simone. Welcome to our staff.
Thank you. I feel very welcomed.
I noticed there's an email thread that Matt, our executive pastor, started welcoming Simone to Crosswinds, where he asked everybody to write on the email their favorite place to get coffee and their favorite restaurant in town.
Yeah, that was so cool. I love that.
It is cool, but I think you grew up in Livermore, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, a little bit. But it was still cool because, you never know those hole-in-the-wall places and things like that. So I liked it.
I never responded to that email, by the way. So my favorite places to get coffee are the Press, and my favorite place to get food is probably Pachi's Pizza.
Yeah, we've been to Pachi's a few times together, Zac. It's all up there for me too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Couple of things as we get started here. One, Goodness Village is under construction behind us. I can hear in my headphones the beeping of heavy machinery as electricians are running electric underground today. So sorry if you're listening to this, but those beeps, every beep is good news. It's progress towards something coming up here. The other thing I'll say, in case you have not been looped in, Zac is moving into kind of a new role for us here at Crosswinds. It doesn't mean he's moving out of his old roles in terms of leading middle school and a pretty significant role in leading level up. But I'll say, as our new family life pastor, Zac is really going to be giving direction to everything from birth through fifth grade. Is that right, Zac? Birth through eighth grade, because middle school is still part of it. Yeah.
And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so cool. And we were just looking for a good way to get me some new responsibilities, I think, and then also like me taking my next steps. So yeah, we can talk more about that later.
Yeah, we'll do another podcast where we can talk a little bit more about Zac's vision for family ministry overall. But I think he's got a cohesive idea of what it looks like for us to really be kind of spanning alongside a family from birth all the way through eighth grade. And so we'll get into that. That maybe the most important thing to say is that my daughter Kennedy last night, upon hearing about your new title, was like, wait, does that mean that Zac is no longer going to be involved in middle school anymore? And I was like, not at all, Kennedy, don't worry.
For all of those middle school parents, like if you just call me the middle school pastor, I'm not going to ever be offended by that, because I am very much still over our middle school students and taking care of that. There's segments in the family ministry role that I'm still middle school. I'm still your guy. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. And actually, part of this is why Simone's here. We've built up our children's ministry portion of the staff. I mentioned on a podcast Jody and I did the other day that Janice Rollins is going to be stepping into a more prominent role, leading out kind of the operational logistics side of children's ministry. But Simone Brown, who's joining us, is going to be leading out the creative part of that and working with a lot of our volunteers and all that goes into children's ministry. So we're excited about that, Simone.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I am excited to just jump into it.
So we got a couple goals on this episode of this podcast today. One of them is to get to know Simone a little bit. Some of you will be meeting her in person with some stuff we've got coming up for kids on Sundays. But the other thing is to talk about what we've got coming up for kids on Sundays, because that's a pretty significant shift in the coronavirus world we've been in. We've not had anything in person for kids birth through fifth, and we're about to not all the way for birth through fifth, bring it back, but bring back a portion for some of those older kids in elementary. We'll get into all of that in a minute too, and kind of the deeper vision behind all of that. But first, let's just get to know Simone. So Simone, you're from Livermore then, or no? I the way you answered that made me think maybe I had it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Livermore when I was younger, and then we moved to Brentwood when I was about 8 or 9. And
Okay.
so a good part of my childhood was in Livermore. But I mean,
Got it.
it's changed so much. So I would say that I'm not technically from Livermore anymore. And then,
Yeah.
Brentwood is my home, and I've lived there for, the rest of my, adult and middle school, high school life. So yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you guys know each other. You knew each other before Simone coming on. I'll say we searched all over the country, and I'd even go so far as to say the world, because we've interviewed some people from Zimbabwe, the Philippines. Like we really did that we were interested in. But you, Zach, near the end of all of our search, was like, "Hey, you guys ought to talk to my friend Simone. This might be a valuable thing." And how did you guys know each other?
So I'll jump in here real quick and just be like, I actually met Simone when I was doing ministry out in Brentwood.
Yeah.
And she was a senior in high school when I joined the students team out in Brentwood Cornerstone. And if you guys know me, that's kind of where I started my ministry journey a little bit, was at Cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
And Simone, the first thing that I really learned when I learned that Simone had an acumen, or like a gift for leading, was we were doing a red carpet affair type event for these kids, for these high school kids, where they had to film their own like YouTube music video type thing. And we were the hosts of this event, and we had to
It was so cool.
be goofy and crazy on stage and dance. And we took the evolution of dance. And I don't know if we remember our steps at all.
Oh, I do. I remember.
You remember everyone? Yeah. And we did it on stage, and it was so fun and so goofy, but I knew that Simone had leadership potential there. And it's cool that we became friends after she graduated high school. And she went off to do all kinds of things. I'll let her talk about that. But that's when I kind of got to know her a little bit. And then she married a friend of mine who started off as a student of mine, and we've hung out and been friends. And actually, funny enough, it wasn't, I didn't reach out to Simone and say, "Hey, we're hiring this position." She called me and was like, "Hey, I see you guys are looking for a kidsmen director. I'm looking to get back into ministry after a little bit of a break, right?" And they approached me, and I was like, "This could be a really good thing. Let's see how it goes." Yeah. And so that's how we got kind of where we were at.
Yeah. So Simone, tell us about that. I mean, tell us a little bit of some of your history in ministry, and then what made you go, "I think this might be something God is calling me to right now."
Yeah. So, from when I was first born, I grew up in the church. I started volunteering at a very young age. I remember being in junior high, and I was in charge of, setting up and tearing down what we called the skit room. And we did puppet shows, and we put on, different songs and things like that for the kids. And I was doing that in middle school, and they were like, "Yep, Simone, here's the schedule. Here's this. Just go at it." And I was like, "Okay." And I loved it from the beginning. I actually remember when I was younger getting butterflies like on the way to church, because I loved it so much, because it was just so much fun. And growing up in that atmosphere of just loving, Wednesday nights and Sunday nights and Thursday nights, I had so many things to look forward to. And then growing up, I started working for the church, and that was actually my first job. And I learned some really good skills there, just because it taught me so much about work ethic and how to work with a team, and really to just, be responsible. And then after I graduated from, or after high school, I did a ministry job, and also went to, I did camp ministry and worked at Hume Lake, and then I
Mhm.
also went through the Joshua program. So during that time, I really learned a lot about camp ministry and what big organizations kind of look like, and all the things in between camp ministry and, scheduling and working with multiple different ages, and really getting to see the behind the scenes of something like that was so cool for me because I love camp ministry.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I've done, interning at my church, and so I've
Yeah.
always really been heavily involved in the church, and
Yeah. So
I love it.
Simone is not unlike Zach, also done some internships with Cornerstone Brentwood. Zach is one of the best people we've hired around here in a long time. We've hired a lot of great people, but Zach, man, Simone, if you come out of the same kind of internship program that Zach has, we'll be in great hands. In addition, you've worked with Young Life. In addition to that,
Oh, yeah.
you mentioned Hume Lake, so you've got a good amount of kids and student as well experience in all of this, and I do think from talking to you, you've got this creative piece. We as we were getting to know you, found out that you have like 8 brothers and sisters. There's 8 of you. How many are you?
There are 8 of us, and we're all sisters. So all of
Yes.
us
Oh
are
my gosh,
girls.
it's all girls?
Yeah, all girls. And yeah, 20-year time span of oldest is 29, youngest is 9 years old. And
Wow.
so yeah, it's pretty crazy.
When I heard that, I jokingly said, do you guys have a TLC show? Isn't it
Yeah.
TLC the network that has all like
Yeah.
the giant families? And then you said, well, actually, we were about to for a while.
Right.
Is that real?
Yeah. I mean, my maiden name is Cornelius, and if you've known of our family, we actually were very involved in the process, I guess, in getting our own show. But another family actually took our spot. But we were in the running for like a couple years, actually.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
This is a fascinating piece. The funny thing to me is Zach's family also actually had a Lifetime Network movie made about them. We won't get into all the details right now on this podcast.
Yeah, if you really want to know more about that, you can talk to me. It's a little more traumatic than
It is.
So yeah,
but you both have these brushes with somebody wanting to televise your story. I have nothing like that. The closest I have to that is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman on Netflix right now, which is a mafia Jimmy Hoffa Teamsters movie. We won't get into all that.
That's deeper stuff. If you guys want to know about our trauma past, you gotta sit down and have coffee with us. That's the deal.
Totally. So Simone, let me ask you some questions that'll help us just kind of like get to know you a little bit. All right. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Well, my first initial thought that came to my mind was actually Africa.
Really? Have you been to Africa?
I haven't, but my sisters have been on mission trips to Africa, and my husband actually lived there abroad for school for a semester, and I just feel like it's such a beautiful place. I've actually been wanting to go there. I mean, I've always been wanting to go there ever since my sisters got to go, but it's just such a beautiful place, and it has so much culture, and I love just the way of life that they live, and it's so beautiful, and it's filled with so many beautiful people and that have like amazing stories. So
good. Okay, that's good. That's a good way for us to start to get to know you. Okay, here's another one. Ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather ride a bike, ride a horse, or drive a car?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
Can we add zebra onto that list?
Honestly, I feel like I love riding my bike. I actually ride my bike very often, but riding a horse is so cool. I don't know about like in Livermore, but I know Brentwood, people ride their horses all the time, and they'll ride them on the side of the road and they'll just wave to you. It's like a normal thing in Brentwood kind of. So that would be so cool.
You see that in Livermore. We get a little bit of that depending on where you're. Usually you see it when you're out riding your bike. You'll pass somebody else riding your horse. Yeah. Okay. Here's a question. Let's say we had a big karaoke night and our whole staff were getting up, singing songs, probably because they had a drink or two to loosen up and be willing to do it, because most of us wouldn't do this. What would you sing at karaoke night?
Oh, I know it.
You do?
Yeah.
That quickly? I
Yeah.
couldn't answer this that quickly. Go ahead.
The big wheels keep on turning. Pound and it keep on burning.
You'd sing
Rolling,
Tina Turner's Proud
Yeah,
Mary.
Tina Turner's. Yeah.
If you could all watch, Zach is doing the moves right now as she is singing that song.
That would be my backup dancer.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Simone, good. Well, there'll be more opportunity to get to know you as people start to come back to campus here a little bit, which let's move over to talking about that. So we announced last week that we're going to be starting to bring students or children, I should say, back into our outdoor experience. Most of you know we've been meeting outdoors with our adults on Sunday mornings. Again, online is the main thing. Online's going to be the main thing for a while now, and that's not just true for adults, but it's true for kids as well, and for students. We offer those things for middle school as well, right? But we have started again a Sunday outdoor thing for those of you who are comfortable doing it. But what we haven't done is really had any opportunity to have children on campus during that, anything for them anymore. And we have asked Zach and Janice and Simone to create something that we can start to safely have kids back. Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that's going to be, what it's called, and we can start to kind of look into what it is.
Yeah. So one of the things is we're really, really excited about having kids back on campus. Like, I think many of us would agree that it's been a season of not happiness. I mean, just tough times, not hearing children laughing, running around the courtyard or playing on the playground. We have kind of like associated with our Sunday mornings, like that wonderful atmosphere of the whole family getting to be here and that experience. And I think rightfully so. And the season has been hard for a lot of us. So as we're looking to make a staged comeback, if you will, similar to our adult Sunday, the first stage is starting what we're calling Sunday camp, just because we really kind of want to change up our vision for what it looks like, because it's going to be outdoors, so we can kind of have this campy feel to it. And
Wait, you buried the lead there, though. So let's go back, because that's great. I love the name of it, Sunday Camp. This is not Crosswinds Kids as we know it in the past, where they're all going to their rooms and switching rooms as they go, where we've got a bunch of them together. You are creating a camp-like experience for 50 minutes or so on a Sunday morning right now, called Sunday Camp. Sorry, keep going now. You were talking about.
I think that's great, pointing out that we're creating this really great experience. We are, due to wanting to keep safety, Chris, I believe in your podcast with Jody, you talked about these idea of what we're calling pods. So you're going to be your kid will be in a pod with the same leader and the same kids every week. So that you can, if you're going to be consistently coming, you can have that consistency of knowing, hey, it's the exact same leader every single week. We'll be doing check-in that way. And those pods are going to be led by what we're calling a camp counselor. And these counselors are high school and young adults, just because we know they're at lower risk. And they're going to be, we're going to be training them to make sure that they're sanitizing and taking care of all of the different items that we need done to make sure that we keep our environment safe for our kids, and making sure that they can come and feel safe to kind of remember that we have masks on. We're going to try to stay socially distant, and they're going to be in charge of 4 to 5 kids. And that way that they can just have that kind of community built into it, and making it so that they're ready to go. And then from there, so you're going to walk up on a Sunday morning, go to check in. You'll see probably the familiar face of Janice, who's helped you check in, and Simone there. And you'll check in, and they'll direct you to your pod. You're going to drop your kid off at the pod, And from there, we have a whole set of camp-like experiences set up, large group, social distant games. I've been working with the middle schoolers.
So let me jump in there and ask a little
Yeah.
bit. So how, it does sound obviously, as you describe it, different than normal on Sunday. But will there
Yeah.
be our normal Sundays back when we normal lately has been watching it online? So
Yeah.
pre pandemic normal. And Simone, will we still see like creativity as part of what this looks like at camp, or will it just be you go to your pod?
I mean, yeah, we're trying to make it interactive as we can with also being safe. And I mean, I am so excited for the games and some of the things that we've kind of implemented and Zach has been talking to me about. Like, I know like noodle tag was one of those things where the kids have noodles and so they're spaced out, and just making sure that the kids are feeling, like they're at a safe place to just have fun.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, and I think even on that creative stuff, like Janice. So yesterday was in fact Simone's first day. So we are still jumping in to add even more creative things and creating that really fun, exciting
Wait, it's
atmosphere.
not just noodle tag. We're not going to just do that alone.
That's actually the whole plan.
The kids actually would
probably not be mad about it. They'd be like, "This is the best hour of my whole week." No, so we are going to be telling the Bible story on Sunday that we're putting out on the video. So if your kid misses a week or whatever, they're not missing out. They can still go watch the video and get some of the same content that we are putting out on Sunday mornings. The thing that they will be missing out on is the creative storytelling of being in person, whether we're going to do some sort of skit that Simone and I will do, or Simone just telling the story. She's a great storyteller. So they're going to just get to have this amazing experience of doing that. And we're still part of this pilot program, which I haven't kind of gotten into yet, is that we're going to be looking for the right spot for us to be on campus on a Sunday morning and what that looks like. We have a couple of ideas and we're going to try them out. We're going to see what works great, where that spot is, where are they going to have that experience where the kids get in the car after church on Sunday morning and go, "Mom, Dad, that was the most fun I've had all week. Can we go later? Like, why do I have to go home right now? I want to just stay and hang out and have fun."
In some respects, I think you might get that more than we did before the pandemic, because we're going to be outside and again having this camp-like feel to this that we know a lot of kids are really, really going to enjoy that piece of it. Okay, you mentioned pilot program. What do we mean when we say that? Like, I know that we're recording this on March 11th. I don't know how long it'll take to get up, and by the time people hear it, it might be a couple days later than that. But the 14th, we're actually doing training for your camp counselors with no kids. That's a Sunday. But the 21st is the first day we want to just kind of try this with a smaller group of kids. I think you're looking to get 20 to 25 kids out here that day to work with this and like let us just kind of work out the kinks. We'll be very safe with your kids still, but it'll help us just get a good feel for what we're doing.
And Chris, you mentioned like limiting it to the 20 to 25 range. Is that it's not to say that that's not when we're not going to be safe. We're actually going to be extra safe and really get those protocols and things procedure down so that we know, like, all right, we're going to be expanding this to larger come Easter. And so we want to really make sure that our procedure and everything is in place, solid. Like, hey, if this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens.
Right.
We're ready to go. And we're like, hey, we did this with 25. We can do this with, 60 kids come that season or come Easter. And so
that's great. So let's hit that real quick. The 21st is the pilot. The 28th is more piloting. And then April 4th, which is Easter Sunday, again, we'll be doing our normal online thing on April 4th. We'll have a big Easter service online on April 4th. But we're also doing what we are calling a sunrise service here at Crosswinds. Sunrise around us around the time we want to wake up is 9 a.m. that day instead of 10.
That is definitely sunrise for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
working with middle school students. That's
Yep.
sunrise for me.
So April 4th, we want to open that up much larger than the pilot program. Really by then we'll have it hopefully dialed in and be in a spot where we feel good about it. So if you're listening to this and you want to wait until we get the kinks worked out, April 4th, we'd love to have you out here for our outdoor service. But if you're willing to help us work out those kinks, March 21st and 28th. And the way you'll sign up for that is if you go to our website and you sign up the same way you normally sign up for our adult outdoor gathering. At the very top of the main page on the website, there is a click here if you'd like to sign up to come on Sunday for adults. When you click on that, there'll also be an opportunity for you to sign your kids up. For the pilot program, we're going to ask their names, what grade they're in, and how many kids you're planning on bringing to that. Which actually, that's an important detail we haven't mentioned yet. What grade they're in. This is not for every kid. This is not for birth toddlers. What are the Simone? What are the ages that we're doing with this for this pilot program? Or maybe ages is the wrong word. It's probably grade level, right?
Right. Yeah, it's K through 5 years old.
K through 5. Okay, so you're going kindergarten through 5th grade on this.
Yeah.
And why is that, Zach? What's our thinking on that?
Well, so again, with I don't know if those who are listening have ever hung out with a toddler, but toddlers and pre-K kids aren't quite aware of maybe their own body or their own surroundings sometimes. And so this is a place where we know that kids in kindergarten and above can kind of maybe are a little bit more aware of our world right now and aware of what's going on. And so we thought, hey,
keep your mask on, don't lick the kid sitting next to you. You're more likely to follow those rules when you're in kindergarten, at least on up, right?
And I mean, most kindergartners, I believe, will be able to handle that. We might have one or two that will try to lick it, but we'll have those masks on them, so they'll just hopefully lick the inside of their mask instead of actually licking another kid. But that's our goal. And as I was kind of saying earlier, the staged program as more people are getting vaccinated, as we're seeing the numbers of COVID decline, we're going to try to bring back pre-K when we can, when we feel like, hey, we can do this safely. We can do this in a way that will benefit them. And the little bit of risk that comes with it, we can minimize that as much as we possibly can and make sure we know that this isn't totally risk-free. But we're hoping that all of the precautions, all of the things that we're doing are going to minimize that risk, that it's so worth that reward of getting kids here on campus, being in community, hanging out together, learning stories about Jesus in fun and interesting ways, that's going to blow out all the risk out of the water. The reward is going to be so good, so wonderful. And I can't wait. I'm so excited for it to happen. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps over here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we will get pre-K back as soon as we can, but it's probably not going to be in the camp format. It's probably going to look more like what it used to look like with volunteer leaders in classrooms, and we just want to be as safe as possible. So we'll take as much time as feels right to be able to do that. Jody and I were talking on the podcast the other day. It is most likely to be when we've got some leaders who've been vaccinated and feel good about being able to be in those rooms with those younger kids. And so if you're listening to this and you are a Crosswinds Kids leader who's not had a chance to do this in a year and you've been vaccinated and you want to reach out to Simone or Zach and say, hey, I'm willing to help with that. The more we get that, the more we'll be able to, I think, start to reopen pre-K, even while the rest of the church might still be outside.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that you mentioned there reminded me hey, for those that have been volunteers in KidMin in the past in our Crosswinds Kids, we hope that you come back. We are so excited to have you join the team once we get back to more of a consistent Sunday morning experience that we cannot wait to have that. And this camp counselor experience right now is just to kind of keep us safe. And it really is different from a Sunday morning where when we get back to that Sunday morning experience, when we're in the classrooms, we're going to need your help, your expertise, your calling, your gifts, all back in those classrooms with those kids, because man, we cannot thank you enough for how much you've invested and put into this ministry already and made it what it is in the ability to love and care for kids in a place that kids are so excited to be here on Sundays. And so I'm so excited for that to happen and get back to that. And we're even looking at ways to get you involved sooner. So if you are like dying to be volunteering with Kidsmen, make sure you reach out to Simone, myself, or even Janice. And we would love to just talk over, hey, we might need someone to be a security person walking around, making sure we don't have any runaways or things like that. And that might be a role in which you can help us even now.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Good, guys. Anything else that we need to cover with all of this? I feel like we've hit a bunch, but I just want to make sure we're not missing anything.
I think we got pretty much everything.
Yeah.
The pilot programs are really going to help us lock down the location. So if you're listening to this and going like, well, I don't even know where they're going to be, like we're talking about potentially in the courtyard, doing something there on the hill, and also maybe on the other side of the building in the other grassy areas, and creating places and environments where students can really just have an experience with Jesus and God and stuff like that. So we're looking at all different spaces.
We've got a good amount of experience doing this with our student ministry over the last 7, 8, 9 months. So I think we've got a good feel for where we can do outdoor things with children's ministry in a way that's safe and is going to be comfortable, if that's the right word. By the way, everything we're saying here is weather permitting. Every outdoor gathering we've been doing is weather permitting. We've only had to cancel it all once when it comes to that. And it was actually more because of potential COVID exposure with me. I had been around somebody and found out later they tested positive and thought it's probably not the right week for me to stand up in front of 100 people out here at our outdoor gathering with my mask off, even though their masks are all on, and do that. The same thing could happen in children's ministry with Sunday camp. So what we always say is if you sign up, and by the way, you can't sign up until exactly a week before. So this Sunday, registration will open for the first pilot week. This Sunday morning, you go on our website, it'll be ready for you. But we always say when you sign up, check the morning you wake up our website to see if we're still on and if anything's changed. Of course, we with children, we're gonna email you as well on Sunday morning if for some reason it got canceled. But check. Just always think to check. Don't take that for granted. Weather could cause that to have to get canceled or anything along those lines. The nature of outdoor, the nature of a pandemic, it's all just kind of unexpected sometimes, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great, you guys. Well, thanks for doing this with us. I appreciate it. Simone, we're excited you're here on our staff. And
thanks for having
I'm
me.
excited for our church to get to know you more over the coming days and weeks as people start to kind of slowly creep their way back out here and onto campus and be involved in things. We'll have to. And by the way, we should say Simone will be part of our online stuff too for kids ministry.
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing her pretty soon. Are you on this week's video, Simone?
No, I believe, because we're getting prepared for this pilot program, Mayor Josh, you will still get to see Mayor Josh before he heads off to his new spot.
Yeah.
And so Simone is going to be making her YouTube debut on the 28th.
I already have some things planned.
All right.
And we all got to see her sample video. If she's got some things planned, you guys, it's going to be
fun.
Epic.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.
We'll see you later. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, everybody.